Okay. Where's Jeremy at? We need another Moor. There be some other Moors that be having some stuff to say. Okay, I know they do. Where's Jeremy at? We need another Moor.
Yeah. Kia Beats.
Yeah.
Yo, Kia, what up? I used to be scared of pigs, judges and wigs, authority abusers, inside tinted cruisers. Pull out batons, get Negroes head crack on. Stuff vests with drug notes they stole from a thug's coat. Thugs buy pitch drugs and never get caught up. Use trade tricks, these servants are made dicks. Have the front lines with dummies that know no law, to make you assume that they know no law. Smarter than a fifth grader, rights violators, oaths and badges, but acting so savage. No intellect to object or interject. Civilly dead passes all get intercept. Foul balls get caught. Negro leaders swinging and missing deliberate. Your head they deliver it to the fucking pharaoh. Dressing like your ancestors. Study more. It's holy Quran lessons. Don't be fooled by leaders. Saying they black, taking yellow envelopes, weighing they stacks. Sold you out to the lodge and government corpses. Sacrifice their own to their pale god bosses. Don't be fooled by leaders. Saying they black, taking yellow envelopes, weighing they stacks. Sold you out to the lodge and government corpses. Sacrifice their own to their pale god bosses. More's been telling, never to the point of yelling. Like black power, coward slaving, never rebelling. Backstabber, all talk, never kill a cracker. Or kill their own like overseers for slave master. Kill their own mentally, not a physical death. Not in full life, only simply dead is left. If you went right, you look up to a conscious dyke. Abandoning birthrights for a monstrous fight. They're not prepared for, cause you don't study. Lack of mental exercise, get minds water sluggy. Save your waiting. When Drew said save yourself and learn to love, instead stop hating. Shells filled with black books calling us Moors. No need for four-legged beasts mauling us Moors, cause status sets the stage like a costume ball banquet. Suffocate devils with a Baphomet blanket. More my vessel, not anchor but anchor. We civilized sellouts will tell you we conquered and got everything handed down like a sofa. But Europe comes from a Moorish Queen Europa. America comes from Morocco, not Vespucci. Egypt is America in Illuminati movies. Bruce Almighty, use Morgan Freeman as God to prove black can't be, so stop living a fraud. Wake up, can't you see your own sold you out? Wake up, can't you see your own sold you out? Wake up, can't you see your own sold you out? That's what Moore's been telling you about. Don't be fooled by leaders, saying they black, taking yellow envelopes, weighing they stacks, sold you out to the lodge and government corpses. Sacrifice their own to their pale god bosses. Don't be fooled by leaders, saying they black, taking yellow envelopes, weighing they stacks, sold you out to the lodge and government corpses. Sacrifice their own to their pale god bosses. Yeah, Noble Drew Ali told y'all, you're not Negro, black, colored. Is anybody selling you that? You know that they're selling y'all out. Anybody selling you that? You know that they're selling you out. Kia, what up? I'm a Moor, some call me Saracen, some Muslim. Europe had some dark age issues, I solved them. Using more science, I'm stating the obvious. Rapper drone stepped up from Kush to Molly blunts. Unawakened, unconscious. Unaware Moors won't accept the fact, plus he looked up black or more. Moors the custodian of Kemetic Nubians, carrying the marvelous light, the path Negroes to Nubians, saying I'm a Moor, not colored or black. I'm a Moor, Seti or Enki, they can't change that, cause I know their hands don't extend past Allah's wisdom. I'm a Moor, no doubt a contradiction. Return to my own vine and fig tree. Nationality, a mind frame if you're with me. Reclaim your ancestral mind and shout.
I'm a ball. Red flares, black pass, elders of my class, not black or Indian. I repeat, I'm a ball. Indigenous to the farthest west, say we were great, still they say we the best. Hear what I say, I'm a ball. Yes, it's true, if not for Drew Ali, most of y'all would have still been asleep. Now you could tell them I'm ball. Then you could ever wish you thought you would be. 3 centuries deep in more science I read, study, I'm a ball.
Rope on a peg, stuck in the shore. Oceanographic device anchored to sea floors. Goldfish of China and Japan. Veil-tail variety brushing the cold water plants. Stretches of land, jungles are where sand blows. Reptilian species and amphibians homes. Defending Drew Ali, that's my mission. To put securely in place or desired position. Ancestral mindset, not thinking like the hybrids. Can't hide from a 10, so they mess with the climate. Mess with the mind, mess with the food, get violent about more subjugation. Your black leaders are quiet, signed on to King Alfred, but they want you to riot, pushing dogma as religion and want you to buy it. Most never do it, but they want you to try it. Too many have knowledge of self on the shelves and won't apply it.
I'm a ball. Red flares, black pass, elders of my class, not black or Indian. I repeat, I'm a ball. Indigenous to the farthest west, say we were great, still they say we the best. Hear what I say, I'm a ball. Yes, it's true, if not for Drew Ali, most of y'all would have still been asleep. Now you could tell them I'm ball. Then you could ever wish you thought you would be. 3 centuries deep in more science I read, study, I'm a ball.
Let me in. I can only be myself.
Nah, don't be like me. No, don't be like me. Pussy look, don't be like me. Whoa, don't be like me. Much. Want my boy to be like me. Hold up, what to cook? Don't be like me. Don't be like we. Must be yourself, man. Just be like me. Fly like a monarch and be my king. Stepping like me, weapon I be. The day I stand above my knees. Still put the prophet in front. Don't be like she, can't be like her. And the hand can't be like Queen. Could have been like Team or staying like Dream. But it always end, cause it ain't what's real. Don't be like ill. I am. Stop bugging on, being like them crayons, something that you spray on. God, step in light speed, hit the ground like screeds to a halt, or was it even moving? I'm a check. Don't be like me, could have been like Lee. Watch out. Bet in a couple years, it gonna be like 3. Don't be like Speed. Nah, don't be like me. No, don't be like. Pussy look, don't be like me. Whoa, don't be like me. Much. Want my boy to be like me. Hold up, what to cook? Don't be like me. Don't be like we. Must be yourself, man. Just be like me. Fly like a monarch and be my G.
I can only be myself.
Yeah. Alright, Chef, what up? CMP, what up? Masons think they had it, but they tack down tassels. Watch me send you rope to Albion and a lasso. Caucasoid hybrid, sun burns your eyelids. To the human fam, we created a virus. Some help to build, but most destroy our future through melanin girls and melanin boys. Fast food, television, miseducation. Mr. History stole the rights from our nation. National appellation, not in all capitals. Tribes of nobles and noblesse with woven crests. Feathers and sashes, shawls and vests. All Ashkenazi bloody Jews. I put an alpha hex, omega the rest, without a bloody mess. Left dead in some Nikes like David Koresh. Burn out your temple with myrrh and frankincense. To work a ritual, it's all about intent and invent. Melanin, the magic dust, trust me. I say to all the Poon and while all Orishas love me, trust me. Black candles, we got red ones too. When lit, would have you think this is deja vu? With no Denzel, cause Washington won the Grammy. He doesn't even know Washington is his granny. Could've sniped Wesley, but went for tax evasion. Moors and courts facing these Judge Masons. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give back your holy books, call me rebellious slave. Give back your story, there's more truth in mine. Give back your crucifix, hanging tree boots and swine. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give back your holy books, call me rebellious slave. Give back your story, there's more truth in mine. Give back your crucifix, hanging tree boots and swine. Coming to you from the blackness in the peyote teepees. Not the head watch from ice or sucking freezies. You could choose to research, don't believe me. Key of life songs cause inner visions and wonders like Stevie. Walk through the world under, your mind flows like tundra soil. Hit you like Shango when my blood's on boil. Come as Bata'Allah or Batala. With one eye for sight, I could see from afar. Mermaids and mermen cry for tadpoles and jaws. Trying to get the serious, they call it mission to Mars. To get you not looking, distract attention. Not to mention, but they have your brains in a lasso and your pineal gland tattooed. With designs calcified, my height is amplified. To levels so deep, my flow is amphibious style. Leaving clansmen bloody in a hideous pile. Not like King Leonidas and Spartan saying 300. To call a legion of raw, you must be frontin'. Like European pharaohs before the 18th dynasty. Coming and killing me and saying they nasty. One golden firewall so you can't catch me. Had to jack your beat cause the shit's catchy. Sometimes I fake cruise my face screw like little Scrappy. And at the piggies with the scanners trying to speed trap me. Cause I'm repping blue bloods wanna cap me. I told you, boys in blue thinking I'm a Crip soldier. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give back your holy books, call me rebellious slave. Give back your soul, there's more truth in mine. Give back your crucifix, hanging tree boots and swine. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give back your holy books, call me rebellious slave. Give back your soul, there's more truth in mine. Give back your crucifix, hanging tree boots and swine. On the real. Fake boys know the deal. Yo, Red King, what up? That's how we do it. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Call me rebellious slave.
Just want a little. I smoke, yeah. Nigga, I burn the marijuana and they won't book me for that. See me on the streets, here they come, here they at. Stroll around the corner, hands in the hood with a gat. They won't book me for that. Won't bag me for that. Undercovers come up to me, ask me for crack. Not protect and to serve. That's provoking the act. They won't book me for that. They won't bag me for that. But the man in ties, they just look at me back. I burn the marijuana and they won't book me for that. Is it the rich that is mean or the ways that you stack? Or the pigmentation of his skin, he's black. Like they won't book me for that. They won't bag me for that. Ain't even speeding, I'm doing my limit. Can't be taxed, it's illegal. System structure, so you can't be rich. Got us breathing mustard. My brain's blue from the smoke. Ponics, human product. Illumines force light, they call simulate. The devil used man to try to make life, cause God wouldn't tell him, condemn him, fell him. God gave us the seed to reproduce, till Mother Earth is full. So in the mean, I burn the marijuana and they won't book me for that. See me on the street, say they come, here they at. Stroll around the corner, hands in the hood with the cats. They won't book me for that. Where the good people at? Motherfuckers come up to me, ask me for crack. Protect them to serve. That's provoking the act. They won't book me for that. They won't back me for that. But a man in ties, they just look at me back, cause they think I'm black. Nah, man. Girl, something like that.
Marijuana, yo, it calm me. I don't know why they always on me. Only thing I king for me. If you stop us, we put it out calmly. Officer, where's your authority? Don't be the national on her land or his seat. Oh, I love listen to me. Bonnet I tell, no grabber in my weed. We check out the stems and seeds. Rolling while I'm rolling, that's a regular tendency. Enough man beat the NC. For me, some bubble roots or some ganja tea. I take 2 shots for my enemy. Envious bad mind with the jealousy. But I know nothing, we are the remedy. Chef in Zanga pit, we mastered the recipe. Watch this roll, yeah, it's a masterpiece. I don't care who sees, I burn my herb in the streets. The cushion bang is always on me. Few times the pussy them try swami, intelligent tone. I tell them calmly, I'm MIA, Moorish Imperial Army. Mind what you say, might rub me wrongly, matter in me eye. I bury I'm beef, me no even brush me teeth. Me want me some beef, me no get that split with bun, me get drunk.
Marijuana and they won't book me for that. See me on the streets, here they come, here they at. Stroll around the corner, hands in the hood with a gas. They won't book me for that. Won't bag me for that. Undercovers come up to me, ask me for cracks, not protect and to serve. That's provoking the act. They won't book me for that. They won't bag me for that. But the man in ties, they just look at me back. I burn the marijuana and they won't book me for that. Is it the rich that is mean or the ways that you stack? Or the pigmentation of his skin, he's black. Like they won't book me for that. Won't bag me for that.
Islam Moors, happy holy day. We rise and give honors to Allah, honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to Marcus Garvey, honors to all the ancestors who got us to this point where we're at right now. And honors to all Moors, wherever you are in this world, wherever you are, peace and love to you. We're here once again just to put out information, because people like to talk crazy. They love to talk crazy. It's real interesting. They don't talk crazy about anybody except Moors. So we must be doing something right. We must be doing something. We're going to put this one out to the Lenni Lenape chief, Tamanen, today, who made sure he had his fez on and made sure that he was standing on the turtle's back with the 5-point star on the back of the turtle. Why would there be a 5-point star on a turtle's back? It's supposed to be, that's supposed to represent Turtle Island. Why is the 5-point star? Because all these people say that this is not Morocco and this has nothing to do with Moors and all this stuff, but the chief of the Lenni Lenape, Chief Tamanen, everybody knows because they have his statue right there. People who study know. People who don't study, they pass by this every day and they don't even know. Fezzes up everything. Right? Now again, check the symbology. Why you think Ghostface had the eagle on the stuff? Hawk, whatever it was. Bird. Golden bird on his arm, walking around. Golden bird. He was telling you something. He told you Black Noble Drew Ali in triumph and everything. What you mean? But you love Wu-Tang though. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to stuff with and all that stuff. But you're not gonna recognize its feathers up.
Right.
Yo, when we did the performance in Open for Ghostface here with One Oak, with no words, huh? Saw him, seen me, made eye contact, nod, Islam, peace, work, went about his way, I went about my way. Feathers up. You know what's up. I gave the look like, what? Out here? Nah, no way.
Yeah.
Because like I said last night, our superstars are RV Bay Publications and those people.
Right.
Our superstars are Hakeem Bey and C. Freeman L., Delbert Blair. That's our superstars. Our superstars are Asir, the Duke of Tears, Obashango L., Ma Jade Bey. That's who. That's who our superstars are. Fezzes up on the Lenni Lenape chief, standing on the turtle. Oh, because you think I'm talking BS, let me just show you so you can see. So there's the star right there, 5-point star on the turtle back, which represents Turtle Island. But why would there be a 5-point star on a turtle back? These people say they have nothing to do with Mars. 5-point star only has to do with Mars. But who else is repping 5-point star like Mars are repping 5-point star?
Right.
What you talking about? What is repping that like we are? People try to convince us that that's some kingdom stuff and all of that, that we should throw away our stuff. You nuts. We're represented on a turtle back with a chief wearing a fez. All these people saying that they're not Moors. They're all these different type of Indians, but chief with a fez is up on a turtle back with a 5-point star, which is to letting you know Moroccan Empire. People are playing around. They're not Moors. They're everything but Moors. We're going to make up every goddamn excuse in the world how they're not Moors. Matter of fact, I might as well go there right now. Let's just go there. See this madness. So you always know that. You always know that our people want to keep playing around with the sellouts, right? We have Sydney right. We have Sydney right here, right? The collective work of you brothers raising the intelligence and all this BS. How are they raising the intelligence when they're keeping people stateless? How are people supposed to be for themselves, for their nation, for their family, for their everything that they're supposed to be for, but they don't have a nation? They're claiming to be represented by banners and certain rights that certain people pass, and somebody got shot so they get something, and nothing's based in any type of law, like nothing. Right? They're gonna tell me about why don't the Moors go get the land and give it back to somebody? What you mean? You black Indian, whoever's are the ones that sold the stuff.
Right.
Because how come you didn't go talk to the Sultan before you made your treaties with these Europeans?
Yep.
How some Europeans show up and you don't go check with the superior before you sit down with them and have any type of conversations?
Yeah.
Because remember, Moors weren't mainland. Moors were worldwide.
Right.
Moors weren't limited to North America only. You're not going to go everywhere in the world and they're going to tell you, oh yeah, the Cherokees were here and they freaking brought us science and knowledge, and you're not hearing none of that. You're not hearing that Lenni Lenape were in Europe. How come? If you're the indigenous Aboriginal or whatever, you're not hearing about no Aboriginal, indigenous, Australian or whatever, that they were in Europe, or they were in Africa, or they were in Asia. You're not hearing about that. They're limited to their little spot where they say this is the foundation of whatever. Well, how are you? You've never seen anything in the world. If you've never seen a European before, ever, and then one of them just pops up in the middle of the jungle or whatever, and you're some tribe or whatever, you're going to be startled.
What's that movie with Keanu Reeves is in it? And the Chinese emperor, when he seen it, he said, "Oh, kill it." That's what I'm saying. You Moors was doing. Saw one of them Europeans in the woods. Yeah, you were startled, but you was, oh, kill it. That's what they were doing. That's what they was. Real quick, too, Clear Sheet.
Yeah.
Because you was mentioning Ghostface. But the thing is, it's been so many people that have told them that we was Moors.
Yeah.
All the you just put another video out a couple weeks ago with all those, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, all these people saying it. Back in the day, the Fugees were saying we was Lords.
Yeah.
Before it was the Lauryn Hill and stuff. It was the Fugees was telling us we was Lords. They all of them knew. Everybody, Waka Flocka just said it. Yeah. Everybody's been saying it, but then all of a sudden, because somebody got an attitude and stuff like that, now we're not Moors. But everybody else is saying, we're Moors.
Right.
We're Moors. Diddy put the fez on. He took it off once it hit him. Like, oh, I got too happy. But then he realized, he didn't know, like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm a Moor. But then he realized where he was at. But there's so many celebrities. You had the Roxanne with her fez on.
Yeah.
You done showed everybody, all the movies, we showed the Black Knight with Martin Lawrence, all everything. And my thing is, these handful of people come out and know we're not Moors when the whole world says that we are Moors.
And these few people are the ones holding everything up.
Yep, that's all it takes.
These few people just holding stuff up.
Yep.
Because it could really be done tomorrow if all these people stop playing around, run out of the house with your fez on one day or whatever, and just run down the street saying that we're Moors. Forget if you're going to get the ear to ear. Forget it. They're going to cut your tongue out. Who cares? At least everybody's going to know. Just one day say, you know what? I'm leaving the house with the fez on today, with the jewels and everything. And reclaim it. Do what Brother Abdullah taught you Masons to do. Take your stuff back. I know you guys got his book, Stop Fronting. We know that he went to about 50 lodges to go do lectures.
Yep.
Lodges. Black guys who secretly wear fezzes in stuff called Freemasons and all that. People think they know something about. All these individuals went to a Moor to teach them about the stuff in the lodge because the Europeans not teaching them what they're supposed to know.
Yep.
And they're expecting that because Europeans are their brother or whatever, but they're not getting the treatment like the European Mason gives the other European Mason.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting the BS treatment. And all that comes down to your status, dummy. Because if you're Hiram Abiff, how are you waiting for a European to tell you something about your stuff? No.
And the Europeans looking at you like, why would I tell you? You're it. You don't need to know then if you can't figure out that it's you.
No. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here because you already did the background on it. But 8 hours ago, Jaguar said, Yusuf Matadiel, once I trademark, I'll start a new nation for my family. Please don't have to use the same style of identifying. I don't answer to foreigners neither. Your empire is Africa.
Right. This is after I asked him what his nationality was.
Yeah.
This is what I asked him simple. What's your nationality? Everything the Grand Sheik just read was his answer.
These are your scholars, people. These are your scholars.
These are your scholars.
These are your scholars.
These are your scholars.
Right.
All I asked him was, what was his nationality?
Getting all that.
And he said he's going to trademark one.
He said he's going to trademark one.
Now, I don't know if you have the definition. I put it up there if they can see it. Of trademark. This is what he's doing. Is it up there? I can't see this. I don't got the screen.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna go check right out. Cause they be playing around. Okay, yeah, it's right here. Okay, what is a trademark? The term is given to a recognizable name, marking, or term that a company can by law use to identify itself and its products. See infringement of trademarks. LOL, you're still a slave.
You're still a slave. I can't believe he thinks, okay, now I'm a trademark. That's what companies do. Are you a company? And is your consanguinity product? These are the words you said.
And if you are a company, how can you be a nation?
A tribe or tribe, nation, aboriginal, indigenous, any of that. You're a company.
Now again, remember, these are the people who are claiming that they're Indian and they have a nation. If you have a nation, what are you trademarking?
Yeah.
Are you supposed to have that already? What do you mean you're going to trademark a nation for your name and your family, but you're claiming you're aboriginal, indigenous, or whatever, autochthonous, one from the earth and all that stuff, but how come you're going to go trademark? How come you're going to go create a nation? I thought you're Lenny Lenape or Cherokee or something like that. I thought you're a nation already.
Oh yeah, back to that.
Are you already a nation? But this is how it goes when you try to play colored. Because just like when you do fraud, only fraud is gonna exist if you do fraud.
Yep.
If you yield from fraud, then there's no fraud going on. The moment you consider, hey, I'm gonna do fraud, fraud's gonna happen. Play yourself.
Quick question too. If you're trademarking and making up your own nation or whatever, wouldn't that make you a foreigner? Doesn't that take you away from your ancestors? Like, you just messed up everything by saying that.
Yeah.
You just messed up. At least black people stuff go back to the slave shit. You're something about to start in 2019 as a company. Look what you like.
It didn't even start yet.
It didn't start yet. He said He's still looking for it.
You still got to register it. Working on getting that 350.
Okay.
Working on getting that 350 to go register the nation.
So he did answer my question. He don't have a
He
nationality.
doesn't have a nationality, which means he's stateless.
Yeah, right. Yeah, football.
Right? Now one of his crew jumped in. Let me just put this one out there too. Kiowa jumped in. Depends on your tribe and nation it belongs to. How is more a nationality from America? Let me go on that one.
Because I want to get my back. I want to, because I don't like to do opinions. You know, I'm gonna get something real quick.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna run through this. I'm gonna run through this right here. Islam in the African American experience. Richard Brent Turner. Right. How is more a nationality from America? Right. The Moorish Science Temple of America was the first mass religious movement in the history of Islam in America. It focused on the African American community and embodied all the distinctive characteristics of this new religious tradition. It was urban, anti-Christian, and multicultural, and it developed a distinct missionary and Pan-African political agenda. Its racial separation was due not only to Black nationalism, but also to the historic patterns of racial separatism in Islam. Arab and Eastern European Muslims in America probably considered the Moorish Science Temple an embarrassing, peculiar, non-Islamic movement because it created its own Quran and ignored it. As Eric Lincoln has noted, the Muslims provided no more opportunity and even less incentive for Black participation in the religion of Islam than the counterpart white church provided for the meaningful Black involvement in Christianity. Noble Drew Ali was an intelligent and creative signifier, a self-styled prophet of the city who utilized eclectic religious, cultural, and political motifs to construct a new Black American cultural and political identity that involved changes in name, nationality, religion, diet, and dress. Again, we're still leading up to how is more a nationality from America. This is the background of how. His initial inspiration came from Islam as a global religious, political, and cultural phenomenon. Although he did not have the Indian sponsors for his movement as Muhammad Alexander Russell Webb did, he was familiar with Indian philosophy and central Quranic concepts such as justice, a purposeful creation of mankind, freedom of will, and humankind as the generator of personal action, both good and bad. Thus, the Indian subgenerator of personal action, thus the Indian subcontinent continued to be a source of information and inspiration for American Islam, as Drew Ali developed the tradition of the jihad of words by utilizing the written word to strive in the path of Allah. Now, Noble Drew Ali was an intelligent, creative signifier, a self-styled prophet of the city who utilized eclectic religious, cultural, and political motifs to construct a new Black American cultural and political identity that involved changes in name, So by claiming that you're a Moor and connecting yourself to the families of El Bey, De Al, or Ali, that's you declaring, proclaiming that you are part of the Moorish nation. This is what Noble Drew Ali taught, that we're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopians, because he was Cherokee Indian. And he knows that he got labeled black and Ethiopian, or Negro, or colored, or Indian, or any misnomer. And he was connecting us to this jurisdiction, which was the real last stronghold of the Moorish Empire. This is the agreement for these Europeans to even be over here.
Yeah.
Because this jurisdiction is not European. People say the West, oh yeah, the West, whatever. West is Aboriginal and Indigenous. West is not European. Europe's in East. Europe's not on the West side. Europe's on the East side. So why they keep connecting them to West? Just like why they keep connecting them to American. Because these dumbasses want to be Indian and autochthonous and whatever like that and never say American. And the only time they'll say American is if you put native on it. But then why would you say native if American means that you're native? Oh, we don't say European says that they're that, so we're the autochthonous tribe of some galactic whatever. Making up stuff. Just like this guy's talking about, trademark and make a new nation. What the hell are you talking about? What kind of dishonor to your foremothers and forefathers is that? That's like being born a man and getting a sex change and being a woman and then parading around like you're a woman and you want everybody to accept you as a woman.
No.
That's what it's like when you say you're not Moors. Think about it like that. You just did a sex change. Created a nation and then claiming that that's something.
Trademark it. Unbelievable.
So being that we're in America, just like Chinese in America are Chinese American. Well, we're Moors, so we'll be Moorish in America. Because we're not the African Moors or the Asian Moors or the Moors or the Moors over there or the Moors and whatever and the Moors down there and the Moors that go. We're the Moors in America. So we're Moorish American. Moorish American ties us to us being from this side. That's why we showed you the chief, Lenny Lenape, standing on the turtle back, representing the nationality with the 5-point star and wearing his fez. That's Moorish. That's not Indian, black Indian or nothing like that. How are you going to look at me, see me in a fez, tell me all this stuff about we're not Moors and all that stuff and whatever like that, which means you know that people with fezzes are Moors. But then we're going to look at him and you're not debating anything. Like he's wearing a fez, just like I wear a fez. He's representing a 5-point star, just like I represent a 5-point star. Well, you don't know what his 5-point star means. What do you mean? The 5-point star is on a turtle back. If the turtleback represents Turtle Island, which is the Americas, then that would mean the Americas have to be part of Morocco in some type of way because there's a 5-point star. And you know that they made him copper. That's why it's green now. It still stresses the point. Because now it's a green 5-point star under turtleback. Who else has green star around here? Anybody? Anybody got hands up in the peanut gallery? Anybody in the peanut gallery rep a 5-point green star? Anybody? Because if this statue is green and then the star is green on the turtleback, then he's talking about Moorish Empire. That's why his fez is up. But he said he's Tamanen. He didn't say that he's El Bay. He's wearing a fez. What don't you get? Why would he be wearing a fez if he's not a Moor? What is he? He's Turkish? He's Turkish. Who else wears fezes? Oh, he's a Mason. Oh, he's not a Mason? Oh, yeah, you're sure that he's not a Mason? Yeah, he's not a Mason. Okay, so then he has a fez on. So what is he then? Is he Moro? Oh, he's from the Philippines. Oh, no? You sure he's not from the Philippines? Okay, he's Aboriginal Indigenous from here. Okay, yeah. Lenny Lenape. Okay, yeah, but he's wearing a fez though. So if he's wearing a fez and he's Lenny Lenape, what does that tell you? Okay, let me ask some more. Brother Yusuf.
What's wrong?
Okay, little Yusuf is there?
He's upstairs.
Okay. Okay, answer this for little Yusuf. If an Indian walks up to you with a fez on and says, I'm Lenny Lenape, are you going to think he's not a Moor?
No. No. My son is gonna be like, he probably hear him. He's gonna hear him, and then after he's gonna clarify it with me, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a Moor, like because you got your fez on.
Right.
You're like you have a fez on. There's no way you got a fez on and you're Indian. You can't.
That was my bad.
And another thing too is like Indians. Like, okay, let's do the whole thing. Indians know that they're not Indians.
Mm-hmm.
The so-called Indians, they know that they're not Indians. I put the video up on my channel. They did it. The so-called Indians, First Nation people, they did it. They put the video together to tell the people, we don't like to be called Indians. Like, so they know off rip, like, that's low sin deals. You know, that's the problem. Like, cause we get rid of everything. All those words, Native American, Indian, Aboriginal, Indigenous, like, once we destroy the word, we get rid of everybody's argument. And it doesn't give them a chance, but they still keep arguing. It's like, brother, you know, Indian comes from low sin deals. I even gave them the link. I put the link on their channel where they can get the book. It's called Low Sin Deals. It's a so-called Indian. This is a so-called Indian. He's in it. Guy in it. He wrote the book telling you where it comes from, the Vatican. At Columbus's time, he never heard of the word Indian. It was because that place is Hindustan. They heard of Low Sin Deals. The godless heathens. The godless heathens who goes to the Berbers, the Barbarists, which which is the Berbers, which is the Moors. They talking about Moors.
We got some.
They talking about Moors. They're not. But you're accepting the degrading name that they put
on you. Yeah, and then you're telling us that, oh, they didn't call themselves that, but they're wearing fezzes though. What do you mean? What you mean? They said that they were a tribe, yeah, but they wore fezzes. What don't you get?
Yeah.
We got sent some reference points right here. Brother Nabi. A People's History of the American Revolution by Page Smith. A new age now begins. First page, she has the Great Seal in there.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this.
Right now, you know, as Moors, we already know that Negroes don't read. So every chance we get, we try to, you know, just get books. More as a book, that inside the book, someone has put the Great Seal in it. Now, people who are students of Egyptology they know that pyramids weren't just built in Egypt. They know that pyramids were also built over here. Because you're talking about one people. You're talking about one people. One people separated by ocean. These people were not some grass skirt and all that stuff. These people had things going on this side on such a high level, make across the Atlantic Ocean look like a shame what was going on over here. Now the things that they did allowed others who interacted with them to learn. But there was always going to be reminders put in place so that the neophyte doesn't get caught up thinking they're at it because they've been given certain degrees or keys or, you know, levels that they might not have get just because they, you know, might have known the adept. This represents the great seal of the Moorish nation. Novus Ordo Seclorum, the New World Order, is our order. That's your higher self vibrating above the pyramid. The rest of the pyramid is your body. Well, the bottomless pit that the pyramid is hovering over is the cares of the world. There's no way that this is just put in this book for nothing. This was put in this book so this more could open this book and see this great seal and praise Allah for being a more. Or he would have missed this. He would not been able to experience the power of the spiritual world resonating through you once you start knowing who you really are and stop playing around like you're Indians and all this stuff. There's a lot more.
There's a lot more.
We gotta add on before I go to the page. Because I didn't start reading yet.
For the proof that makes, how are we, what is it? What was the question? How are we indigenous to America?
How are we Moors in America?
How are we? I'm pretty sure it makes it, how are we indigenous to America?
Where is it at?
How are we Moors in America? That I don't.
Oh, how is Moor a nationality from America?
How is Moor a nationality? The question is colored. That's the problem. The question is colored. How is Moor a nationality for America? How is Chinese a nationality for Chinese? Like, I don't get the question. Like, I don't really get it. Like if they're asking how are we indigenous to America, because, and we also know that America is really Al-Moroccan. American is Al-Moroccan phonetically. Abdullah already had broke it down. The other brother, what's the brother's title? Mariano broke it down too. Mariano broke it down on his page. Used to be up there, but he had broke it down. And I just emailed you another thing. But Grand Sheik, read, because I'm thinking they were asking what makes Moors indigenous to here. If they read, read that article again that you got from the Sudanese. What did they call the project?
Oh, the first indigenous, yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to pull it up too.
And the way he wrote this would be perfect for their question, because the way they asked their question, which is colored, he actually answered it colored for them. At the end, he calls the prophet African American. So when you read the whole thing, it's perfect. It's a colored answer for a colored question. It's perfect. It perfectly fits it. And I sent you an email too, because the book that was published before 1923. The book that's called The Discovery of America, The Outgrowth of the Moors.
The what?
I emailed you. Yeah, everybody know that one.
Yeah.
Published before 1923. What was these people's mom doing before 1923? They don't people was writing books about that. Moors, the Discovery of America, The Outgrowth of the Moors. That's another thing. Then you got the Sudanese article saying that the prophet is the first indigenous.
Oh, yeah, sometime in the late 1920s, Sati Majid came into contact with the first indigenous African American Islamic organization to emerge in the United States, the Moorish Science Temple Association of Noble Drew Ali.
That's the people coming from over there, telling that the Moors over here is the first indigenous people. Because we know that African American is not who Noble Drew Ali is. We know it. The person who asked the question know it. Everybody know it.
Yep.
Everybody knows that the prophet is not African American. He teaches that we're not Negro, colored, black, or African American or Ethiopian. He teaches that. He teaches that. That African American crap wasn't even around when the prophet was around.
I know how is he that?
Black.
Yeah. How is he that?
Now, he calling ourselves something the prophet never even heard of. Yeah. They're calling him something that the prophet never even heard of. African American. That's colored.
Super.
So that it's plenty. The more are, and then you got we're Aboriginal indigenous to the world, because why are the mortals in the so-called Philippines? They're the indigenous people over there. Like you got Moors all over the world. All over the world. You got the Moorish Gate in the so-called Palestine. Moors all over the world. All over the world. But then as soon as it comes to being over here, they accept the Eurocentric psychology who says that nobody traveled over here. Or like we weren't just here. We weren't just here, Pangea, separated, and we were just here. Still. Like, are we not saying that? Like, that, again, Eurocentric thinking. There's no time when man was not. We always been here. We was here when it was connected. We was here when it disconnected. We was here when it wasn't. We was here when it wasn't here. We was here. We was here. We've been here.
Yeah. Well, here, this one. Here. We've been here. Here, this one. Indians and Settlers chapter, page 113, from a new age now begins. The problem was vastly complicated by the fact that in a real sense, there was no such thing as an Indian.
Say that again, Bushy.
All such efforts were ultimately unavailing. The white man's perception of the Indian was too limited. He wanted, in effect, to turn the Indian into a white Protestant, to which project the Indian was stubbornly resistant. The problem was vastly complicated by the fact that in a real sense, there was no such thing as an Indian. They were members of tribes of frequently very different speech, customs, and manners, whose consciousness was a tribal consciousness. And again, that proves that those mainlanders can't be the supreme beings, because you haven't seen the world.
Yep.
Don't tell me about your little pocket and then I show you air conditioning and you're going running through the flowers trying to mess up the beautiful scent that we're trying to get through the house. Because you weren't civilized. You're a mainlander. You know about seeing the world. You know about gold trade and trade and spices and all that. All you know is your little beaver stuff and moose and whatever that you're doing. kill a bear, take a bear paw, make that a chain, and now you're the god. There was no such thing as an Indian. So what were they then? If there was no such thing as an Indian. White society was organized around the notion of contractual relationship, around predictable behavior. Observing the Indians, who have few but natural wants and those easily supplied, Benjamin Franklin was inclined to propose a whole new theory of human development. Franklin wrote to a friend, "They are not deficient in natural understanding, and they have never shown any inclination to change their manner of life." Nor would the shade of skin have been reproached at this day. For if a Moor may be washed white in 3 generations, surely an Indian might have been bleached in 2, blanched in 2. Now, you think they're talking about 2 different stuff when they say Indian and Moor?
They call it the Berbers, the Moors. That's what most Indians is. The godless heathens, the barbarous ones, the Moors. That's what they talking about. That's what they talking about. But they, like you said, they accept the degrading term. They just stopped at the degrading term. It didn't go on.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go on. Stop right there. And then, okay, now this is the thing too. If we do this regularly, like the story is known regularly, like they teach it in the public school system that Columbus thought he was going to India. He was lost. So when he got here, he thought the people were Indians. Like, that's the story they teach in school.
Yeah.
They teach that in school. That's regular. So because he was lost and he got here, he thought the people were Indians. It was a mistake. Like, they're not Indians. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's the regular story that they teach. Like, regularly, you guys are not even Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the story is, the guy thought he was lost. That's the story they tell.
That's the story.
And they sitting here talking about they Indians, Native Americans, or just a continent. But people in the so-called Africa don't call themselves Africans. They tell you either they're Kenyan, Congolese, like they'll go through the whole thing. They'll never say they're African. We've been saying this for years. Years. But over here, you can say you're American. That's a continent. America is a couple. It's the only place with two. Isn't it 2 continents? Only continent with 2 continents. I think South America and North America. But America is a continent. What's your nationality?
You gotta have that.
But like he said, he's gonna make a trademark. One of them, now look, these are the people that was on the panel. We still waiting for Dan Calloway to tell us his, and we still waiting on Auto Talking this guy to tell us his. But the other 2, he said, the first one said he's a bona fide Israelite. The other one just said he don't have one yet, so he's stateless. He's gonna trademark one and make one up. That's his thing.
Right. Oh yeah, debate this. The Journal of the Moorish Paradigm, Book 1, Ben Ishmael Tribe.
Oh.
Above. This is a map of the migration route of the Ben Ishmael tribe. The Ben Ishmael were a collection of Lenape Delawares, Nanticos, Iroquois, and other tribes from the eastern seaboard who were displaced by the Europeans in the 1700s and 1800s These were those who refused to integrate into quote-unquote white society. These so-called Indians were actually Moors, as can be seen by their name Ben Ishmael and their migration route from places they named Morocco, Mohammed, and Mecca further confirms the fact that they were Moors. Their name and the names of their migration route does not sound very much like those used by Indians, as we were taught. The parts of Indiana and Illinois where they settled are now called black areas or ghettos presently. Remember the Jackson 5 song, I'm Going Back to Indiana.
Mm. Mm. Now,
So,
and then again, too, to
yeah.
back you, Grand Sheik, if you go on my channel, you see remember all the videos I put up with they got the Moabite telling you to welcome to Algiers.
Yeah.
What is it? It's Algiers. It's another one. Tangier in Virginia, so-called Virginia. That's Tangier. You got all that stuff is here. All that, but I thought the videos. They doing tourist area stuff in that area, and then letting the Moabite do the video. I would love it. If you could play that.
Yeah, the Algiers one, right?
Yeah, the Algiers one. And then they got the Spain grocery store. All of that.
This is the second oldest neighborhood in New Orleans, but it feels worlds away from the bustle of the French Quarter. In fact, over here, locals call it the city's best kept secret. Welcome to Algiers Point. Algiers is a neighborhood nestled in a curve, border point of the Mississippi, right across from the quarter. Even though we're on the west bank of the river, you might notice that we're located to the east of downtown New Orleans. It's a little confusing, but it feels right for this town. Getting here means a quick ride across the Crescent City Connection, or you can take the scenic route with the ferry running across the river every 30 minutes. It's a very relaxing ride with amazing views. So now that we're here, let's take a look around.
Oh my gosh, Algiers Point, I feel like it's different than any other part of New Orleans.
I always describe Algiers as uptown on chill. So you have all of the beautiful aesthetics of uptown, just it's a slower pace.
You kind of feel like you're on an island over here. It's enchanting, really. I mean, from sunrise to sunset.
Everybody's out there pushing their kids in carriages, walking their dogs. It's a very friendly neighborhood.
Right off the ferry, you'll find the levee. Along the levee, you run into the Jazz Walk of Fame. It's a quick primer honoring some of the greats in New Orleans music. The levee is also ideal for a picnic or a stroll, and of course, these views. As you get into the neighborhood, it begins to feel like a real village. It's quiet and cozy with lots of shops and cafes.
Black Star Books and Cafe is a community hub. Our sandwiches cafe is a
quiet and cozy with lots of shops and cafes.
Black Star Books and Cafe is a community hub. Our sandwiches are second to very few, any. But you can come and sit down and relax as long as you want to. It's a real homey space.
There's lots of young families that live in Algiers, so the occasional stroller is not an unusual sight. Places like Confetti Park are perfect to let the little ones run wild. For the more grown-up clientele, Algiers Point is full of local artists.
Say again?
I said, this is amazing. Like they're talking about here, saying Algiers.
Here.
It's just like it's crazy. It's like it's Crazy.
And not just Algiers,
Crazy.
but Algiers, Morocco.
Right.
But it's in New Orleans though.
Google, YouTube, Tangier, Virginia. They got videos on that. And it's another place, like, right on the shore. All that stuff is right here. And then Virginia, what did we learn in the 100 Amazing Facts? The first slaves weren't Negroes, but whites that died like flies or whatever, coming over here in Virginia. That's Tangier. Then when you go check the records for Christian slavery in Tangier, here we go. This Morocco. Here we go. Tangier, Virginia. They got the pictures right there. They got the videos up.
Yep.
It's sinking now, so you're going to see a lot of them about it sinking. But I just like for them to say the word.
All right, so this one above. This is Journal of the Moorish Paradigm, Book 1. Above. This document was given to me by Brother Bob Daly L. Bay. It is from the Permanent Mission of Morocco in New York. It is an article relating how Moors came to the New England area in the 3rd century AD, in the area where the brother in the previous picture is from. The article says that Moroccans discovered America over 1,000 years before Columbus. Thus, the Moroccans in Africa are aware of the Moorish connection to America. With regards to Moors being in the New England area when the first Europeans came here, David McRitchie says in the book Ancient and Modern Britons, 1676, the native races of New England were spoken of indifferently as Indians and Moors, and or British Indians, Aboriginals, are also remembered as Moors. So we're not saying not Moors, not black, not Indian, no, we're saying Moor is the nationality, not Indian. Yeah, they call us Indian, but they call us Indian.
Right.
We didn't call ourselves Indian. Why would we call ourselves Indian? We don't think this is India. Like, why would we call ourselves Indian? If we're from over here, we know this is not India. Now, there was something to, oh yeah. So I went doing some research or whatever. And I said, let me just look up the etymology of Jaguar. Since people want to be Aboriginal indigenous, call themselves Jaguars. Big spotted cat of the Americas. 1600. From Portuguese. Jaguar. So, you're indigenous, you're Los Indios, and you're Portuguese.
Portuguese.
And we're foreigners. You're Portuguese, but we're foreigners.
Yeah. See? See?
Did they even look up their name before they?
No.
Because how you telling me you're indigenous and that Moors, and you're riding with people who are saying Moors, they're foreigners to hear this. Moors, they're foreigners, and they're yelling and stuff. Yelling. Like, why are you yelling? We're right here. Yelling? Moors are
Yeah.
foreigners, but your name come from Portuguese. And you're talking crazy about Moors.
Yeah, and this the same guy who said he gives big props to Pharaoh.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Dan
yeah.
Canaanland.
He gives big props to Pharaoh.
He said, I mess with some of these Freemasons. I said, yo, do y'all hear that, right? Do y'all hear this guy? Like, this is what he's saying, man. It's coming out of his mouth.
What coming out of
Moor
his mouth?
means foreigner. He messes with Pharaoh. You know, and I mess with some of these Freemasons. Okay, that's all of that.
That's treason. That's treason. That's what that is. That's treason.
And they riding with this dude. And they know, and if you go listen to the video, when he said that, you guys know on that platform that was some because I know they listen to him. These guys know on that platform that was some BS because all y'all got quiet.
Oh yeah.
Nobody said, oh yeah. Yeah, nobody did.
Yeah.
Everybody got quiet because all y'all know, nah, y'all ain't rocking with that. Yep. Y'all know that. Y'all know that.
But you let him stay on your platform though.
Yep.
You play the game to get views, or you're sellouts just like him.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Because, and then another thing too, make sure you read this whole thing. Don't get caught up in the borders in America and you think it's these new people from yesterday. Like, this is the original Moors in America. This is the Moors in America that they'll never tell you about. Because they hijacked somebody else's stuff. Now they're trying to make a name for themselves with somebody else's stuff. This is the level that it's at right now. Although people are going to stoop, not even give honors. You don't hear nobody say Moors in America before this, like this.
Nope.
So this is from the compilation. Good work.
You never heard so-called blacks saying that they was Aboriginal until Moore started talking like this.
That too.
You never Aboriginal, Indigenous. Nobody was talking like that until Moore was talking like that. Talking it. Moore was saying that. Moore was saying all of this stuff. Moore was saying that. They took, again, didn't go study on their own, took the pebbles and ran with it. Took the little pebbles and ran with it. No studying. No studying on your own. Now you're going around calling yourself Portuguese names. Because you saw Jaguar in the book and said, oh yeah, Jaguar. Like, no, that's Portuguese. But you're Aboriginal, Indigenous, you're Indian, you're Lenape, but you speak Portuguese? You Portuguese? How y'all doing this? How are we doing this, man? Playing games. It's just a bunch of stuff. 6 hours. You know why it was 6 hours? Not only because they were emotional, because like my mom said, once you tell a lie, you gotta tell another one.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a lot of backing to do. They told that lie, now you gotta back it 4 or 5 times because you lied.
Yeah, straight.
Like C.M. Bay's book. That's why his is so thin because the truth don't need all of this 400, 900, 12,000 pages. You don't need 6 hours. The truth don't need 6 hours.
Straight.
2 and 2 is 4. What's the next question? Like, what's going on? What's your nationality? Look at all them answers I'm getting. I asked him one question. Look at all these answers I'm getting. That's what turns it into, because you start telling lies. You telling lies. You don't want to acknowledge the truth.
Yeah,
now,
I don't know. Let's say I don't know. No, you're making up stuff. Just like people making up that they're going to be writing books or whatever like that 5 years ago. We ain't seen a book yet. Yeah, we're working on it and all that stuff. And They're still working on it. Still working on it. People's houses are a mess, and then they're trying to tell you to be their child's psychologist or whatever. You guys nuts?
Right.
You lost your mind?
To their $1 million school, but your house is a mess. You can't even make your bed, but you want $1 million notes to help to your school.
Can't make his bed, yo. You know how crazy that is? You know how crazy that is? You can't.
Unbelievable.
You can't do anything. You can't vacuum a little.
Man, he moving.
Yeah, he's moving. Oh yeah, I forgot. Arabic inscriptions. Columbus admitted in his papers that on Monday, October 21st, 1492, while his ship was sailing near Jaguar on the northeast coast of Cuba, he saw a mosque on top of a beautiful mountain. The ruins of the mosque and minarets with inscriptions of Quranic verses have been discovered in Cuba, Mexico, Texas, and Nevada. Mosque? Mosque here.
A mosque.
On top of a mountain. Mosque here. Oh, but you're not Mars though. There's something absolutely different.
Well, can I add on?
Yeah, more good.
All right. This is coming out of the book Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids by Peter Tompkins. On page 28, it says, during the century after the conquest, when Spain was virtually sealed off from the rest of the world, one Englishman, Thomas Gage, did manage to visit Mexico as a Dominican friar. A student of the Jesuits and the Dominicans in both France and Spain, he could pass for a Spaniard and was therefore able to do missionary work in Central America between 1627 and 1637. Now this dude, again, from France, which is Gaul, and Spain, which is Andalus. And everybody knows the Moors got kicked out of Spain. So now this friar dude, Thomas Gage, is coming to Mexico, Central America. It says Gage was most struck in Mexico City by the woman, the apparel, the houses, and the streets. This 1627. He noted that almost half the population of the city sported coaches, many of which exceeded in cost the best of the court of Madrid. So our stuff over here was better than the stuff in Al-Andalus and other parts of Christendom.
Yeah.
For they spare no silver, nor gold, nor the best silks from China to enrich them. We had our own. Gage admired the broad streets lined with goldsmiths and silversmiths. That's right here. And was astounded by the freedom enjoyed by the women to gamble. Day and night, too short for them to end a primaria. It says Gage found men and women accessible in their apparel. The attire of the bizarre sort of people of blackamoors. And, hold on. Yes. I'm going to call it, hold on. To continue, it says, the attire of the bizarre sort of people of blackamoors was so light and their carriage so enticing that many Spaniards, even of the better sort, who are too prone to venery, disdain their wives for them. Now, he just called, like, he don't say, oh, they look like blackamoors. He's talking about them like the blackamoors. You know, their clothes that they had on was so da-da-da-da-da. Like, straight up just, they look like blackamoors. They dress, no, he didn't say that. No, these blackamoors here, the Moors here, their stuff was better than over there. That's what this dude came here and said in 1627. But then when we go look at the old pictures of Al-Andalus and everything, we see all the beautiful stuff. You know, you got more traveling Moors that's around showing us the pictures, so we know what it looked like over there. Thomas Gage, he said when he was here in 1627, yeah, we was looking better than that here. The Moors here. This is a Spaniard. He's a Dominican friar, so he knows exactly what a Moor look like. He knows exactly what a Moor looks like. And then when he gets here, he don't just say they. Not only does he not say that they look like Moors, he just continues on like, oh, the Moors here. You know, they da-da-da-da-da-da. Our coaches was better than Madrid. The coaches is the horses that pull the carriages and stuff like that. Ours was better here. The streets was better here. Houses, everything here. The Moors though, Thomas Gage, Dominican friar.
Yep.
This is who they sent over here. A student of the Jesuits and the Dominicans in both France and Spain. He was sent here as a missionary in Central America in 1627 to 1637. And so he was here and was studying all of this for 10 years too. Was here, showing it. Missionary, trying to convert Moors to Christians. That's what he was doing. But when he got here, he knew that, it was Moors here, and we would practice. Why are you sending missionaries here? To convert us to Christianity? From Islam, the Moors? It's the same thing. What's going on? They talking about the Moors here throughout history, going through all those problems. The first what's the name of those things that they had the so-called Jews in those camps? The first, what's the name camps? I forgot the name of the camps. Whatever those camps was, the names of them, the first ones were set up here in Central America before they had that in Germany or whatever with Hitler. They was doing that here with the Moors. You can get the book "We Are All Moors" from Anwar Masjid.
Mm-hmm.
He writes about it in there. The title alone is the killer.
Yeah, title alone.
On that.
Title alone is a killer. Like, you need nothing more than the title.
We're not debating. We got to prove, because it's not even because of the sellout. Like, we're trying to prove to them. We're trying to prove and clear up to the dogma or the BS they try to pull on the Moors by using dirty Moors information, trying to put it on de jure and divine Moors.
Yeah.
They're going to use wrong way L's so-called literature to try to defame. And they're going to put it here. This is your literature. Like, brother, you just lied. You know that's not our stuff. But I tell you what, I got more respect for Wrong Way because he has a nationality. This guy just admitted he was stateless.
Yeah, he at least has a nationality.
He at least got a nationality. He can be dirty all he wants. He know he a Moor. He know he a Moor. So hard to dirty all he wants. He know he a Moor.
No, they know. They know that they're
Moor.
Yep. They know that they're Moor.
They know they Moor. So I give them a little bit more respect than these guys who are just stateless. Now that's the invaluable evidence that y'all guys are putting, trying to say. When I told them that Indian was low sin deals, he said that was invaluable information. Then I put the book there. No response. I gave him the book. Told him where he can get the information from. Showed him. Never no response. These are their scholars, Jaguar, the Portuguese guy.
Yep.
That's their scholars.
Portuguese guy. Some black guy with a European name with a YouTube page trying to convince you about some indigenous Aboriginal Indian jurisdiction. When we have Moors, we have a flag. We just sold you a statue.
Yeah.
Of a so-called Indian with his fez on. What you mean? It is a fact.
Yeah.
It is a fact. It is a fact. It is a fact. Stop being in denial about what the truth is. Because you can't run.
And then when they get stuck, they try to pinpoint it into 1913. Like we're religious, and that's it. 1913, religious. Like we just started there. Like the Moors started in 1913. Like, stop doing that too. Stop. That's fraud. That's fraud.
Here's this one. Almore L. This is how I know these dudes are leading people nowhere. Spending all their time trying, spying, and biting off ancient Moors. But shouldn't you be addressing the Pale Indians and Native Americans? Spend 6 hours interviewing the 5 civilized tribes. Islam, thumbs up for that one. Right here, Jaguar now. Evidently, all Moors ain't the same, right? My only problem is the ones who try to claim everything in existence as if they were called Moors the whole time throughout history. The build wasn't meant to get at Moors. People come in the chats being disruptive, saying everything belongs to Moors, and it got called out. All Moors are not troll, but you come in here like we're talking to you unless you're saying we're supposed to call ourselves Moors instead of indigenous or Aboriginal. We're saying if you're going to call yourself Indian, indigenous, Aboriginal, and all the other stuff, then you should say that you're Moors, because that's what Moors are. So declare your nationality and stop playing around like you're all these adjectives.
Yep.
Why be an adjective when you could have a nationality and the world is dealing with nationalities? Why would you want to be Indian? Oh, well, some role of whatever said that we're the Indians of whatever. That's from Europeans.
Census roll? They never even looked at the word census. They're not studying. Not studying. Like you said, that's for Europeans. Europeans made that up.
It's not your jurisdiction. I was like, oh yeah, a native came to the door and told us, give us all of the gold and they're going to give us paper. And we said, well, sure, because it's Indian, here's all the gold. And then that was somebody working for them.
Mm-hmm.
He just sold you out. What do you mean?
Yep.
He sold you out and you paid for it.
Yep. Yep.
All right, so Almore L. Jaguar. I don't see you getting at Moors because that's not possible. Moors been spitting that American history and American monuments because I see that's Moorish culture for years. Moors made getting knowledge and studying law and politics cool for years. I do see a lot of imitating and then sneak dissing. That's not honorable. I can respect it if y'all are going at the 5 civilized tribes, the majority of the reservation Indians, telling how does one go through the archives to claim part of the land, even though we all know Trail of Tears and removal acts displaced many. That's some real points. But they continue to go back.
6 hours of going in on the Moors. Mad at Seer, because he says he won't come on their channel.
Mad.
So y'all get a whole 6 hour rant.
Mad. because he won't come on their channel. He's not coming on their channel because of he doesn't want to go on their channel.
Now it's, oh, what type of scholar would say something like that? Like, brother, you okay? You all right? You all right?
These guys didn't take their Ritalin or something. So they're tripping.
You're mad because the man said he don't want to come. What that mean? You don't gotta. He do whatever you want to do. You do whatever you want to do.
Right, they're talking about these books don't use the word more. They say Indian.
Who wrote it?
Who wrote the book?
Who wrote the book? But then you got so-called Indians writing books telling you that they're not Indians.
Yeah. You won't listen to them.
But Europeans are saying that they're Indians. But the Indian, so-called Indian, is telling you, I'm not Indian. And then this guy is saying, well, in all the books, it doesn't say more, it says Indian. Yo, what's wrong? Come on, man. Come on. The so-called Indians just told you that they're not Indian. That's what the Indians is telling you. The ones who are the ones on the reservation, telling you, yo, we're not Indian.
Actually, even Brother Tallahassee out here, he's Nova Scotia Indian. He had the Indian card and all that. And he got a nationality. Forget the Indian stuff because it's BS. It puts you under their jurisdiction. He was Indian and he had to do is sit in the corner with the dunce cap.
Yep.
He was the Indian that he had to go into the room with the two-way mirror and all that stuff, and people showing him globs on paper, trying to, you know. So, trust, we know Indians who said, forget that Indian BS. It's BS, period. We can't be Indian as a nation. Yeah, we're sentient beings, aka dog shit, but you could just call us dog shit, you know what I mean? Because it means the same thing as sentient beings, because we're still the same thing. Stop talking crazy.
Mad. 6 hours.
Mad.
6 hours, but never said one. But I've never seen him say, not 6 hours of them going in on these fake so-called European Indians. Not 6 hours. Not 6 hours. Or they won't go 6 hours on how them colonizers stole their land. Not 6 hours.
Yeah, definitely not.
They won't go in on that.
Definitely not going to go at the Indians who are claiming to be Indians and getting all their little reparations or whatever.
And then
they're going to say Moors are fake.
How do we got to explain the Bering Strait too? Because they say in history they teach that the so-called Indians, since you want to accept that, the Indians came off the Bering Strait. Those are foreigners. That would make you foreigner if you came over here across the Bering Strait. Because now you got to accept that story too. If you accept the Indian story, you got to accept the Bering Strait. If you accept this name Indian, you accept the Bering Strait story. You don't accept that ancient Egyptians came over here, Carthaginians came over here, Atlantis is here. That got nothing to do with you. You Bering Strait. That's your history. Don't try to come tie yourself to that. That's fraud. That's again, you trying to use stuff that Moors taught and apply it to you with an purpose for you. In your colorful presentation. Like, no. If you're gonna do your thing, stick to that story. Stick to Bering Strait.
Let's talk
Don't try to tie yourself to Atlantis. That's wrong. You
Mm.
can't do that. You can't do that. Because then once you tie yourself to Atlantis or the Egyptians and all that, the Olmecs and all of that, well, you can't do it. Ain't no Indian. That's Los Indios. You have to say that means Los Indios now. Because this is all Moorish culture. You talking about Atlantis, Olmec, Mayan, all of that. That's all code words for the Moors. That's all that means. That's all that means. Dr. Blair goes in on that. Olmec's a code word. Dr. Blair goes in on that.
Mm.
Who Dr. Blair says his father was a Moorish scientist.
Yeah. More scientists. Like what? What do you mean?
Dr. Blair. They ain't saying nothing, but Dr. Blair said it.
You know what I mean?
He said his daddy was a Moorish scientist.
You're not debating him. You're not debating him.
That's their master teacher. That's these conscious community guys' master teacher, Dr. Blair. Okay, well, he said his daddy was a Moorish scientist. Now, but we're not Moors. But your master teacher is daddy a Moor. Which makes all of that. Like, is daddy a Moor? She a Moor? Mama was a Moor? But it's because they get emotional. Like they just proved just now. They get emotional and now they are Moors because they're mad.
Yeah, they're not Moors.
Because I just say you don't want to come on their show. Now you're not Moors and you got to cry for 6 hours.
They're not Moors because they're mad.
Because now we can go pull it up where Auto talking this guy came on our Sears channel and asked him, "Can you get on our channel?" So let's not make it seem like we didn't see it. We saw that too. We know that you guys asked him to come on your channel. Like, don't make it seem like you wasn't just on his boots. You was just riding out here. All of you guys was listening to him. Why y'all listening to the Moors if y'all it? Why y'all listening to Moors if y'all not Moors? But y'all listening to Moors. And I know you're listening to Moors because you made the video right after saying, "Oh, he said da 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 da." First of all, you're not a Moor. Why are you listening to Moors? Like that's another question. Before we even do everything else, why are you listening to the Moors? Only reason why you did this video and why we're responding to the video you made is because you guys were watching Moors videos who are not Moors. Why are y'all doing that? That proves the falsehood. We know we Moors, but we got an attitude because we know we're Moors, but we don't want to say it like that. Like we want to still be able to do this. And well, the Brent, she told you, just put more in front of whatever you want to be. But they don't even want to do that. They just want to take all the sciences and all the law and all the things that Moors teach and apply it to what they want to be.
Yeah.
They want to do everything the Moors do, tie their history to us, but they want to make a trademark. Like, how? You just got everything from us. How you trademarking it? How'd you do that? That's treason. That's what these Europeans did. Tied themselves to our family, up to us, to our consanguinity. Now they calling themselves the so-called Jews. They calling themselves Europeans. These people are not even Europeans. They're not the French. They're none of that. Those are all Moors. They're not the Irish. They're not none of that. Those are Moorish people. And that's what this dude saying he's going to do with a trademark. He's going to make something up and tie it to the Moors, to the Egyptian culture, to Atlantis. How? That's fraud.
That's super fraud.
That's colonization. That's what colonizers do.
European psychology.
Yep. Yep.
European psychology. That's all statelessness brings.
Yep.
All statelessness brings is European psychology.
Yep.
Nationality would always be the order of the day until these people realize that they have a nationality and pick it up. Because being Los Indios, being a funeral director, being all these misnomers is not in the best interest of the people.
Yep.
But, you know, just like grandma used to say, who don't hear will feel. Who don't hear will feel. Islam more.
Islam.
I know we gave the Moors a little something for Holy Day today. So we want the Moors to stay true to the cause. Stay true to the cause. And remember that sometime in the late 1920s, Sati Majid came into contact with the first indigenous African-American Islamic organization to emerge in the United States, the Moor Science Temple Association of Noble Drew Ali. We rise and give honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, honors to Allah for sending us a prophet, and we give honors to all the Moors, all the Els, Bays, Days, Als, and Alis all over the world. Islam to all Moors. Peace, Moor.
Islam. Give praises to Allah, give honor to the Prophet, give thanks to the Grand Sheikh for your platform, opening it up for or any more to come on. You know, if they got some information, let us do our thing. Islam to all the divine Moors in the chat, and Islam to all Moors. Just because you know who you are, you're already winning. You already know who you are. Islam to you.
Islam.
Islam, Grand Sheikh.
Peace, Moor.